Hello, everyone. Here we are again. I hope you are keeping your safe home and you are all safe and sound. On behalf of Descubra Mundo, I'd like to thank you for being here with me again. Today, we'll be talking about some very important points. We didn't have time to talk about it yesterday, but we'll be talking about it today. Yesterday, if you remember, we had some questions concerning the use of phrasal verbs. So I have prepared some extra material that you can download in our website, okay, that will show you when it's possible to separate, okay, okay, now can you listen to me? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our advanced class. I hope you can hear me now. Yesterday, we were talking about phrasal verbs and idioms. It was, in my opinion, a good class. I don't know about you, but I like it. And I was glad that there was a lot of participation. That is what makes me very happy, to see that you are enjoying, you are participating, you are expressing your opinion, and most important, you're asking me about your doubts, because the day you stop having doubts, I'm going to lose my job. And now this is not a good time to just be fired. So I'm kidding, okay? You can count on me for anything you want, as well as Descubra Mundo. I'm here on behalf of Descubra Mundo, and my intention is to keep you home, prepare you for your program abroad, or if you are already abroad and you're not having classes, I hope you are enjoying mine, okay? Of course, this is not the same of a face-to-face class. I wish we could have a face-to-face class, but we are all over, not only Brazil, but I have students here that are in other countries like Canada, Malta, Ireland, England, okay? So all schools around the world have closed their doors due to this pandemic, coronavirus. And this is the chance we have to keep studying, getting better prepared for the future, okay? So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'd like to say something very important. If you don't have the material for this class, just go to our website at descubrumundo/campanha/ I think it's inglês em casa. Okay, I will try to find the correct website and I will put it here for you so you can download the material. Yes, it's www. Thank you. Thank you, Nina. She has already done it for me. Thank you very much. That's what I was looking at. That's it. That's the website where you can download for free the material. And especially for you guys in the advanced class, I have prepared some extra material concerning phrasal verbs. When you can separate the verb and the preposition, when you can't separate. A lot of information that are, in my opinion, a lot of information that is very useful, and I'd like you to study that. Tomorrow we can talk about that, because the topic of today is also quite important. I'm sure that many of you have never heard of what we're going to talk about, but if you ever need to take any proficiency test like TOEFL, IELTS, or Cambridge exams, or even the TOEIC exam, this is something they love asking questions about because it is quite confusing. So, as usual, I'm going to share my screen with you, and we are going to start our class. So, okay, there are more people here. Okay, okay. Okay, good. So, one more. Okay. What are we going to talk about? You see, it's not very common to start a sentence with a negative word. Usually we say, I never see Mary at the office. I never see Mary at the office. Or I never talk to Mary at the office. And if you were attending a basic or even an intermediate level class, they would say that the only position where you can place never is after auxiliary verbs, I am never, or before main verbs, I never talk. But you are already attending an advanced class, so things here are different. You see that it is possible to use never at the beginning of the sentence. And of course, it has a special meaning, and this is what we are going to study today. Okay? So without further ado, let's go to the second page. And remember, at any time, if you have any question, if you don't understand what I'm saying, just write in the chat box, and I will gladly answer you as fast as I can. So, the use of negative words at the beginning of sentence. When we use a negative adverb or an adverb phrase that is negative at the beginning of the sentence, our intention is to emphasize what we are saying. I gave you an example yesterday, but I don't remember if everyone was here. I don't know if you remember the example I gave you. Let's suppose that I work for a company, and in this company, there is a girl called Maria. She also works there. Before I got married, which was 150 years ago, I think, I had an affair with Maria. And my wife hates her, okay? She really doesn't like her. When she listens to her name, she foams at her mouth. Remember this idiom we saw yesterday? She foams at her mouth. She gets very angry. And then a busybody person, a gossiper, told my wife that saw me having a conversation with Maria outside the office. When I got home, my wife was very angry at me. I barely opened the door and she already started blah, 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 blah. And I looked into her eyes and I told her, baby, listen to me. Never do I talk to Maria at the office. Why did I say never do I talk to Maria at the office? Because it was extremely important to show to my wife that talking to Maria is an action that doesn't happen. If I simply wanted to say a negative word, I would say, hey, you're crazy. I never talk to Maria at the office. But that's not the case. I really wanted to emphasize that action never happens. So by placing never at the beginning of the sentence, I emphasize the idea that it never happens. But using a negative word at the beginning of a sentence requires certain word inversions. And this is why they love it in all proficiency tests that I have ever seen and prepared the students for in the past 35 years of my life. So follow with me here. Usually we put a negative expression at the beginning of the sentence to emphasize what we are saying. Okay? It makes our sentence sound surprising or striking or unusual. It also sounds quite formal. If you don't want to give this impression, just use a negative expression in the normal position. Okay? So, I have seldom seen such beautiful work. This is just a normal sentence. But if I go to an art exhibit and I see something very impressive and somebody asks me my opinion about it, I would probably say, you know what? Seldom have I seen such beautiful work. By placing seldom, which is a negative word, at the beginning of a sentence, I needed to place the auxiliary verb have in front of the subject. Seldom have I seen such beautiful work. Observe that this is not a question. This is not a question. Yes, Gabriela, we have at the website. Yes, Gabriela. All the material, all classes that have been given so far are at the website. You can go to this link and you can download the material that we are studying now, and also all the previous materials that we have already studied, okay? All the previous material, all classes are at YouTube, so you can watch them and you can get familiar with what we have been doing here, okay? So, I have seldom seen such beautiful work. This seldom is at the normal place, so there is no need for the word inversion. This is a normal sentence with no special emphasis. The second example is the one that I gave you about the woman that my wife hates, Mary. And unfortunately, we work for the same company. So never do I talk to Mary at work. You can say, where did you find do? There is no do in a regular sentence. The regular sentence is, I never talk to Mary at work. But observe the verb, talk. This verb is in the simple present. What auxiliary verb I would use to ask a question about this in the simple present? Can anyone answer me, please? What is the auxiliary verb that I would ask here, that I would use here to ask a question? Very good, very good. Everyone already said do. That's why I'm supposed to say, never do I talk to Mary at work. Okay? So, the same auxiliary verb that you would use to ask a regular question, you use here. The same. If the sentence is in the past, you have to use did. If it's in the present perfect, you either use have or has. Like, rarely have I had such a delicious meal. Rarely have I had. such a delicious meal. I'm trying to emphasize that the meal was really yummy, was really delicious. So I say, rarely have I had such a delicious meal. And if I don't want to emphasize anything, I simply say, I have rarely had such a delicious meal. Okay, I'm sorry. I just must have pressed the wrong button and the entire page went up. Okay, there is a question from a student here. If I don't know what auxiliary verb, should I just transform into a question and check? Pretty much the same, okay? If you don't know what auxiliary verb, look at the verb, Nina. The verb will give you the answer. You just place the negative word at the beginning and the auxiliary verb according to the verb of the sentence after the negative word. If the verb is in the simple present, it's either do or does. Like never does he go to work by car. Because the original sentence is, he never goes to work by car. This is simply a negative sentence. But if I want to emphasize, to make it more emphatic, I say, never does he go to work by car. Okay? Any problem about this first part or no problem? Can I just go on to the second page? No problem, my pleasure. Any question, just ask me. Any question about this first part or no? No problem. No. Come on, one more. No, no. No problem. Excellent. Let's go to the second part. Here are some negative adverbs and adverb phrases that we often use with inversion. Hardly. Hardly had I got into bed when the telephone rang. The original sentence was, I had hardly got into bed when the telephone rang. But I want to make it more emphatic. Then I say, hardly had I got into bed when the telephone rang. Never, never had she seen such a beautiful sight before. It's the same of, she had never seen such a beautiful sight before. Seldom, observe the M, okay? Final M is always nasal. You need to close your lips. Seldom, seldom do we see such an amazing display of dance, okay? Only then. In Portuguese, I've heard many students saying, but only once, only then. It's not negative. Maybe it's not in Portuguese. But in English, only once, only then are considered negative words. So only then did I understand why the tragedy had happened. Only then did I understand why the tragedy had happened. We also have not only blah, 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 but blah, blah, blah. Okay? For example, not only does he love chocolate and sweets, but he also smokes. Well, the first part is fantastic. Okay? He loves chocolates and sweets, so do I. But he also smokes. So not only does he love chocolate and sweets, but he also smokes. No sooner, again, the same thing. Sorry. No sooner had we arrived home than the police rang the doorbell. The original question was, we had just arrived at home, and then the police rang the doorbell. Or no sooner had we arrived at home than the police rang the doorbell. Scarcely, that is also a negative word. Scarcely had I got off the bus when it crashed into the back of a car. That means I barely had time to get off the bus when it crashed. Only later did she really think about the situation. At the time, she didn't think about it, okay? Nowhere, nowhere have I ever had such bad service. Little, little did he know. It's the same of he knew little. Only in this way could John earn enough money to survive. Okay? Only in this way could John earn enough money to survive. In no way do we agree with what you're saying. Okay? Or we don't agree with what you are saying. In no way. Or we agree with what you are saying. In no way. On no account should you do anything without asking me first. Any problem about this first part or no problem? Can I just go to the next? That's fine? No problem? I love you guys. You guys are so smart. No problem? Okay? Good. Pay attention then to the next page. In the following sentence, the inversion comes not in the first part, but in the second part of the sentence, not in the first. Oh, not until. Not until I saw John with my own eyes did I really believe he was safe. So observe that the inversion starts in the second sentence, not in the first. Oh, not until I saw John with my own eyes did I really believe he was safe. Okay, this is a special case. Okay. One more. Not since. Not since Lucy left college had she had such a wonderful time. Only after I'd seen her flat did I understand why she wanted to live there. Only when we'd all arrived home did I feel calm. Only by working extremely hard could we afford to eat. You have only one option to memorize these expressions and remember that the inversion takes place in the second sentence. I really believed he was safe. She had had such a wonderful time. I understood why she wanted to live there. I felt calm. Okay? This would be the normal sentence, but because of the negative word here at the beginning, you have to invert and observe you're not asking questions. They are affirmative sentence. Okay? Oh, we only use inversion when the adverb modifies the whole phrase. When it modifies only the noun, we don't use inversion. Like, hardly anyone passed the exam. There is no need for inversion here because hardly refers only to anyone. Okay? It would be the same of anyone hardly passed the exam. So hardly anyone passed the exam. This is the only case that you have a negative in front and you don't need the inversion. Okay? Well, the only way to see if you really understood or not is by trying to do some. Oh, never I meet such well-behaved children before. They are as good as gold. Can anyone write me here how you would? Wow, that was fast. Never have I met. Thank you for sharing. That was really fast. Did you download the material before or no? You just saw it now. Anina. Yes. So you're good. Yes. Good girl. You see, that's why it's important to download the material before the class. And she did the exercise. Ha ha ha. Oh, clap my hands for you. Okay. Congratulations. You are an awesome student. You see the difference it makes when you study in advance? Now, what about number 2? No sooner my father sit down to have dinner than there was a knock on the door. This is a little more difficult because you have 2 parts and the second part is in the past. There was a knock on the door. So what do you think is the answer here? You are amazing. Okay? No sooner had my father sat down. What was your question? You see how important it is to download the material in advance so you know what we'll be talking about. What was your question? I actually have a question about the present or past. Yes. When do you change the tense? Well, actually, you don't change the tense. The problem here is that you have 2 actions in the past. First, the father sat down to have dinner, right? After that, there was a knock on the door. So you have 2 sentences in the past. Which one happened first? The knock on the door or the father sat down to have dinner? Does everybody understand my question? I have 2 actions in the past. Okay? No sooner my father sit down. Okay, I'm going to repeat it. In this example, I have 2 sentences in the past. Okay? My father sat down to have dinner. That's the first case. The second case, somebody knocked on the door. 2 questions. My question is, which action happened first? The father sat down or somebody knocked at the door? Which one happened first? The father sat down. Very good. Thank you for sharing, Claudia. The father. Very good, Carol. Since I have 2 actions in the past and the father sat down first, the father sat down before the knock, When I have, and every time I have two actions in the past and one action happened before the other action, the one that happened before uses the past perfect. No sooner had my father sat down to have dinner than there was a knock on the door. Understand? Yes or no? It's just like, oh, for example, last Saturday, there was a party. A lot of famous people, in spite of the quarantine, went to this party. The party was supposed to start at 7. I had some traffic delays, and I only got to the party at 9. What time did the party start? If you heard me, what time did the party start? 7. Very good. 7. What time did I arrive at the party? Last Saturday, the party started at 7. 9. At 9. Excellent. So again, I have two actions in the past. Okay? The party started at 7. I arrived at 9. If I'm just telling you the sequence of things, I will probably say, when I arrived, the party had already started, because the party started at 7 before I arrived. So if I want to use a negative, I would probably say, barely had I arrived at the party, Martha left. Barely had I arrived, Martha left. That means I arrived at 9, but Martha left. Okay? Or barely had the party started at 7, I arrived with my wife. Okay? Every time you have two actions in the past and one happens before the other, the one that happened before uses the past perfect. If you change the order, you, grammatically speaking, are all right, but you don't express the correct idea. Okay? Let's see one more example here. Here, not until June, you can get all the swimming gear out of the drawers. Not until June, you can get all the swimming gear out of the drawers. What is the correct answer here? Not until June, you can get all the swimming gear out of the drawers. What is the correct? Nobody has answered this? Nina, where are you? So what's the answer to this one? Will you can get? I have can. It's not necessary to use will you can. It's not correct now. Now it's okay, Gabriela. Thank you. Not until June can you get. All right? Yes, it was not possible to introduce two modals. Will you can. Will you can. Let me see if I have a more difficult one. Okay, this one is good. Two parts. Her eyes were very red. Only later, I find out that her fiancé had broken up with her. Her eyes were very red. Only later, I find out that her fiancé had broken up with her. Nina answers something here. Only later have I found out that her fiancé had broken. Look at the second phrase, had broken up with her. It's in the past perfect. So this other sentence here, should it be in the present perfect or in the simple past? I have one in the past perfect, so the other one should be in what tense? We have just discussed this. Yes. Yes, simple past. So what is the answer then? Yes, everybody understood. We already have a sentence in the past perfect. So what is the answer? Her eyes were very red. Only later? No, the same. Nina, the same. You didn't change. Only later did I find out. Gabriela, very good. Thank you for sharing. Yes, Carol, excellent. Only later did I find out that her fiancé had broken up with her. I'm confused. Yes, it's the same point, Nina. You already have this second sentence here. This was before I found out. So this happened in the past. This was also in the past. But this one happened before this one here. That's why we use one in the simple past and one in the past perfect. Only later did I find out that her fiancé had broken up with her. Can you understand now or no? You're still confused. Two actions in the past. First one to happen in the simple past. And the one that happened before, use the past perfect. Yes, that's it. The one that happened before the action in the simple past is past perfect. Think about the example of the party again. When I arrived at the party at 9 o'clock, the party had already started. Okay? So I arrived at 9. The party started at 7. Let's suppose that Gisele Bündchen was at the party, but she left the party at 8 o'clock. Did I see her? Did I see Gisele Bündchen at the party? Party started at 7. Gisele Bündchen left at 8. I arrived at 9. Did I see Gisele Bündchen at the party? Somebody here said no. No, you didn't. No, that's it. I didn't see her. Why didn't I see Gisele Bündchen at the party? Why didn't I see her at the party? Because she, let me see. Because she had already left the party when I arrived. Yes, yes, Livia, thank you. You are faster than me in typing. You see, I didn't see her because she had already left the party when I arrived. And I wrote party incorrectly here. Okay, understand? So this is not an easy topic. This often confuses people, okay? And here you have the answers for the previous class we had concerning the use of adjective clauses. I told you not to use that. It is possible in many cases, like the first, the second, but I asked you not to use just to force you to remember who, which. Like Bob liked the dinner, Sally cooked it. Bob liked the dinner which Sally cooked. The chair is broken. He's sitting in it. Here there is a little controversy between American English and British English. In England, they say he's sitting in it. In the United States, it's possible he's sitting on it. Okay, both are correct. The chair which he's sitting in is broken. Can I use where? I'm sorry, Nina. Where? In relation to the chair where he's sitting is broken. Yes. 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 You can use where. Okay? Because he's sitting in it. It can be a noun or can be, in this case, an adverbial expression of place. He's sitting in the chair. This chair where he's sitting is broken. Yes, you do have more than one possible answer. So it is correct to use where. Any question about what we studied today? Any question about negative words? This is a topic that you will have to study. You really need to study. Try to memorize the ones which require the inversion in the first sentence. Try to memorize the ones which require the inversion in the second sentence, okay? And most important, keep in mind that if you want to emphasize the negativeness of a sentence, it started with a negative word, okay? Once again, I thank you very much for coming here. I have left in the website some extra material for you to study concerning when it's possible to separate the verb and the preposition. Tomorrow, I will discuss this with you before we go into tomorrow's class. Thank you very much for staying home. I hope you had a chance to learn something, and this is something difficult, okay? I am sure this is something difficult. It's not a walk in the park or a cup of tea, as they say in England. But thank you for joining our class. I hope to see you tomorrow. And stay home and stay safe. On behalf of Descubra Mundo, we are doing everything we can to make you happy, okay? And safe. Thank you. See you guys tomorrow, okay? Bye-bye now.